Welcome to Mindful Objective, the podcast where we explore the root causes of health concerns and help you restore balance. I'm your host, Dr. Daniel Sproul, integrative health practitioner and professor, and today we're unpacking the truth about berberine, which is one of the most talked about natural compounds in the wellness world right now. You've probably seen it hyped up as a natural alternative to medication, but the real story is much deeper and far more practical. From blood sugar and digestion to microbial balance and lipid support, berberine may offer a multi-system support when used with intention. This podcast for educational purposes only. We do not diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease. So let's get into it. Berberine is naturally occurring compound found in a group of plants, most notably berberry, golden seal, and another one would be goth red. It's a bright yellow alkaloid compound that has been traditionally used in generations in herbal medicine systems, such as traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. What's interesting about berberine, though, is it stood the test of time, not just because of tradition, but because it's emerging research that suggests it may support a range of health functions. Today, many integrative practitioners consider berberine when helping individuals focus on improving areas such as metabolic wellness, gut balance, and cardiovascular support. So let's be clear, though. Berberine is not a treatment or cure for any disease. It's a botanical compound that may help the body's natural system maintain balance. For example, berberine is often used short-term wellness protocols designed to support blood sugar metabolism, gut microbial balance, or healthy cholesterol levels. You might have seen berberine trending online recently or for a while with terms like natural Ozempic being used. While that makes for a catchy headline, it's not an accurate comparison. Ozempic is a prescription medication that works by mimicking GLP-1, which is a hormone involved in regulating insulin secretion and appetite. Berberine, on the other hand, does not act like a GLP-1, and it doesn't have the same effects. It supports metabolic function through mechanisms such as AMPK activation. This is a cellular energy regulator, sometimes referred to the body's metabolic master switch. That's quite different from how prescription GLP-1 operates. From an integrative health standpoint, using berberine responsibly means understanding its role with a broader wellness strategy, not using it as a standalone fix. And this all starts with data, right? Functional lab testing, which we always preach on. So functional lab testing can help determine whether berberine is even appropriate for your situation. Here are some of the markers that might help guide your decision. Fasting glucose and insulin. This can show early patterns of blood sugar dysregulation. Hemoglobin A1C. This always gives an insight into long-term glucose patterns. C-reactive protein. You may see this as HS-CRP. This may reflect underlying inflammatory trends. GI map or other stool testing. This can help identify microbial imbalances and overgrowths. A lipid panel. This provides context on cholesterol and triglyceride levels. So this type of testing doesn't diagnose disease, but can help you guide more personalized and proactive health strategy. It helps answer questions such as, is my blood sugar truly elevated? Are you dealing with microbial imbalances in your gut? Are your lipids trending in the direction that might benefit from nutritional support? Berberine may be a helpful ally. For someone with balanced blood sugar, minimal gut concerns, or stable lipids, it may not offer much traditional benefit. That's why individualized recommendations are always key. You see so many people just jump on board and they hear about a supplement, they take it. They may not even need it, or may be causing more damage. So that's why we look at the data. Let's test. Also, keep in mind that botanicals like berberine are typically used short-term basis. It's not meant to be taken indefinitely, especially without the guidance of a practitioner. In most cases, it's incorporated into protocols lasting anywhere from usually 6 to 12 weeks, after which reevaluation is essential. So let's talk about one of the most popular areas where berberine is discussed: blood sugar balance and metabolic health. This is a space where many people hope to avoid more serious complications later in life and where supportive strategies can make significant difference when used with the right time. Blood sugar regulation is a core function in the body's metabolism. It impacts energy, mood, cravings, sleep, weight, and even long-term cardiovascular health. For some individuals, patterns of elevated glucose and insulin levels can remain unnoticed for years before symptoms become apparent. By the time someone is told they're borderline or pre-diabetic, the underlying imbalances may have been building for a while, and usually this is years and years. This is where compounds like berberine get attention. Some early research suggests berberine may support healthy insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. It appears to influence how cells use glucose, possibly making them more efficient at absorbing and storing energy. One proposed mechanism through AMPK activation, which may help your body regulate how it stores and burns fuel. But let's make it practical, right, from an integrative health perspective. Berberine may be considered in someone's wellness plan if they're showing patterns such as regular energy crashes after meals, increased cravings, particularly for sugar or carbs, difficulty losing weight despite effort, a trend in rising fasting glucose, even if it's still technically within range. We focus on optimal. And the last one would be elevated insulin levels. Although those symptoms are common, they don't always indicate the same underlying cause. There's many different issues out there. That's why functional lab testing is so helpful. It moves us beyond the guesswork. Some of the most useful tests in this context would be fasting glucose, which is a snapshot of your blood sugar at rest. Another one would be fasting insulin. High fasting insulin can point to insulin resistance long before glucose rises. Hemoglobin A1C reflects the average blood sugar over the past 2 to 3 months. Another one would be cortisol rhythm test. So because chronic stress can raise blood sugar, testing cortisol via saliva or dried urine, such as a Dutch test, can be helpful. In individuals with elevated markers and persistent symptoms, berberine may be used short-term to support metabolic recalibration. However, it's never a replacement for foundational strategies. And what would this be? Such as optimizing protein intake, reducing refined carbohydrates, improving sleep quality, and improving movement throughout the day. Get up and walk. It's also important to highlight that berberine is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Some individuals with very sensitive digestion, for instance, may not tolerate it well. And if blood sugar is already at the lower end, taking this compound can further reduce glucose, which will lead to fatigue, dizziness, and brain fog. And not everything's a benefit. Instead of seeing this as a quick fix, consider berberine temporary as a support tool, something to help the body reset while addressing its root causes. Ideally, it's used in combination with lifestyle strategies and reevaluated after a few months to assess whether it's even necessary anymore. And that's what we say all the time. Don't just take a supplement blindly. You want to monitor progress through repeated lab testing. Maybe you need to do these 8 to 12 weeks. This can help provide clarity on how well your body's responding. Is it working for you as an individual? You may see improved insulin sensitivity, probably fewer energy crashes, and for sure, a lot of people experience reduced cravings, but only if the underlying systems are ready to respond to that berberine. Bottom line, when used with intention, berberine is a powerful support tool, but only if you really need it. While berberine is often discussed in the context of blood sugar, it's historically used as primary digestive support. So now let's talk more about how it's traditionally used. While berberine is often discussed in the context for blood sugar, it's historically used primarily for digestive support. In tradition in Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, berberine-containing herbs were used to support the bowels, microbial balance, and relief from occasional digestive upset. Today, many integrative health practitioners still turn to berberine for its potential role in supporting a healthy gastrointestinal environment. Now let's talk more about how berberine may assist with gut health and why lab testing can help determine if it's a good fit for you. Your gastrointestinal system is a home of trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, and more, all which impact digestion, nutrient absorption, immune function, and even your mood. An imbalance in this ecosystem is sometimes referred to dysbiosis, which may contribute to symptoms such as, which we all are aware of, bloating, irregular bowel movements, skin issues, food sensitivities, brain fog, and another one will be fatigue after eating. How many times do you eat and get so tired? Berberine has shown in preliminary studies to help support microbial balance. When it's not used to kill specific organisms, it may naturally help support a healthier terrain by encouraging microbial diversity. It also disrupts bacterial biofilms, which is a protective layer that makes bacteria more resistant. It also is supporting your body's natural defenses against candida and certain gram-negative bacteria. It helps maintain integrity in the gut lining. In functional protocols, berberine is sometimes paired with other plant-based agents such as oregano oil, caprylic acid, black walnut, garlic extract, and Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a probiotic yeast. These combinations are usually used short-term for gut reset protocols, and these usually last 4 to 8 weeks, before transitioning to a more restorative plan involving probiotics, mucosal support, nutrient replenishment. Before starting any type of gut balancing protocol, it's best to get the sense of what's actually going on in your digestive tract. That's where functional stool testing and other microbial assessments come in. These don't diagnose disease, but can help provide insight into trends like overgrowth, undergrowth, inflammation, and digestive insufficiencies. Some of the most informative gut-related labs include GI map. This provides DNA-based insight into bacteria, yeast, parasites, and markers of inflammation and digestive function. Then we have another one, Genova GI effects. This is similar to the GI map with added insight into short-chain fatty acid production and enzyme output. Another one, which we always talk about, is the organic acid test, the O test. This is a urine test that measures metabolic byproducts of yeast bacteria. It can flag things like arabinose, which is associated with yeast overgrowth, and inican, which is linked to protein fermentation. When practitioners have this data, we can make more precise recommendations. For example, suppose your stool test reveals elevated levels of opportunist bacteria. In that case, berberine may be used as short-term support. If instead the test reveals low beneficial bacteria or gut inflammation, a different approach might be more appropriate for you. So different kind of considerations. As with any supplement, berberine may not be well tolerated by everyone. Some individuals report temporary side effects such as loose stools or urgency, nausea when taken on an empty stomach, changes in appetite, fatigue if blood sugar drops too low. That's why gut protocols should be personalized and monitored. You're an individual. You're not going to have the same symptom always as your neighbor. You're not going to have the same reaction. It's not going to work the same, right? So it's based on your individual self and why you need to test. Taking berberine without knowing your current microbial status can sometimes worsen symptoms, especially if your system's already sensitive or depleted. Again, berberine may be a helpful botanical for supporting gut health and microbial balance, but this is for a defined period of time, not forever. It should also be a part of a larger protocol. And you should have support from a health practitioner to guide you on that path. Do that lab testing, understand where it's needed and what's the proper dose for you specifically. Used thoughtfully, it can be part of a comprehensive gut reset strategy that includes dietary changes, targeted supplementation, and eventual gut restoration. Just make sure you're working from data, not just guessing. Now let's talk about a broader view of berberine. While berberine is widely known for the support of metabolic health and digestion, there's growing interest on how it may also assist the body's natural ability to maintain healthy lipid levels and liver function. This is an area where many people are quietly concerned. Perhaps their cholesterol is trending upward, or their liver enzymes are slightly elevated on routine blood work, but they haven't met the criteria for a diagnosis from their medical doctor. These are the gray zones where integrative tools like berberine might be a part of a broader support strategy. So let's take a closer look at what research suggests and how testing can guide whether berberine is appropriate for your case. Emerging evidence suggests that berberine may influence several mechanisms involved in lipid metabolism and liver enzyme regulation. From an integrative standpoint, this includes supporting healthy LDL levels. Berberine may help promote LDL receptor expression in the liver, which encourages cholesterol clearance from the bloodstream. Encouraging balanced triglycerides and HDL. This is in some individuals, short-term use of berberine may be associated with improved lipid panels when combined with dietary and lifestyle changes. Assisting with non-alcoholic fatty liver support. Again, it's not treatment, but berberine may help support normal liver enzyme levels and reduce oxidative stress in the liver, which is often areas of concern for individuals with suboptimal liver functions. It's essential to note that these benefits are not guaranteed, and the berberine should not be used as a substitute of medical intervention when necessary. Instead, it may be part of a comprehensive approach that includes nutrition, physical activity, stress management, and regular monitoring. So what lab markers might guide berberine use? Integrative practitioners often look at a variety of labs, not a single lab, not just check for the disease, but to catch trends early. Some of the markers may suggest role for liver and cardiovascular support, such as a lipid panel. LDL, low-density lipoprotein, high levels can suggest a need for lipid support. HDL, high-density lipoprotein, lower levels may indicate reduced cardiovascular resistance. Triglycerides, elevated levels may reflect insulin sensitivity issues or liver strain. Liver enzymes, ALT or AST, elevated levels are early signs of liver strain, even without symptoms. GGT, this is another helpful liver marker, especially in relation to oxidative stress or bile flow. Inflammatory markers, such as high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, is often used to assess systematic inflammation, including cardiovascular inflammation. Ferritin, While often known as a marker for iron storage, high ferritin can also suggest inflammation or oxidative stress. Will be lipoprotein. This is gaining more popularity in the market. These are more advanced lipid markers that may offer additional cardiovascular insight. So if someone's lab work shows a pattern of elevated triglycerides, borderline high LDL, or liver enzyme trends that aren't ideal, berberine may be considered as part of a short-term support protocol. Let's understand why it matters. While berberine may support these areas, it's never the only answer. For example, increasing fiber intake through vegetables, legumes, and flaxseed may support cholesterol balance. Healthy fats from sources like wild-caught salmon, olive oil, and avocados are essential for supporting HDL and reducing inflammation. Reducing processed foods, alcohol, and added sugars can make a significant impact on both liver and heart health. This is probably one of the areas that's hardest for people to give up, but got to give up that processed food, right? Look for whole foods. Just as in other areas, berberine should be used under guidance with a practitioner, especially if someone's taking medication that affect cholesterol, liver functions, or blood pressure. Some individuals may also experience side effects if the dose is too high or used long term. Reevaluation is key. As with other uses, most practitioners recommend retesting labs after 8 to 12 weeks of using berberine, especially if it started to support lipid or liver trends. If markers improve, great. It may be time to shift focus to maintenance. If they don't, it could indicate you need to reassess other lifestyle factors. Are you still eating processed foods? Are you still eating all this garbage? Or is it just not working for you? Is there another issue? So there's a lot of different strategies that need to be discussed. That's why it's always great to work with an integrative health practitioner. And if you need any help or guidance, mindfulobjective.com. Don't hesitate to reach out. And finally, what we need to talk about is timing, dosage, and monitoring your response. Natural supplements can offer great support, but only when used intentionally. That's especially true for berberine. While it's widely available and considered plant-based, berberine is potent and interacts with complex systems like your blood sugar regulation, liver function, digestion, microbial balance. Using it safely means understanding when it's appropriate, how long to use it, what to monitor, and when to stop. Let's walk through how to approach berberine as a tool, not a long-term crutch. So typical usage and dosage guidelines. Most supplement protocols recommend berberine 500 milligram taken 2 to 3 times daily, ideally with meals to reduce digestive comfort. For myself, when I take it, I take 500 milligrams in the morning on an empty stomach and usually 500 milligrams in the evening, maybe 30 minutes before food. But that's for my specific self. I feel it works better for me. And a lot of other people get a very bad stomach upset by taking on an empty stomach, and other people do well. So it's trial and error. This amount is typically used for a limited period, again, ranging from 4 to 12 weeks, depending on individual needs and response. Berberine has a pretty short half-life, so spreading out the dose throughout the day with breakfast and dinner may help maintain steady support. Some individuals may start with 250 milligram once daily and gradually increase to assess tolerance, especially if they're sensitive to supplements. For myself, I'm sensitive to supplements, so I always start slow. So at least start with that single low dose, see how you do, make sure you don't have any reactions, make sure you still feel okay. And then, maybe the next day you increase your dose to the proper dose. So that said, there's no one-size-fits-all dosage, and more is not always better. Higher doses can lead to unwanted side effects or over-suppression of certain pathways, especially in individuals with already stable blood sugar or sensitive digestion. While berberine is generally well tolerated, it's not suitable for everyone. Some groups should use extra caution or consult with a licensed practitioner before use. People with very low fasting glucose or low blood pressure. Those currently using medications for diabetes, cholesterol, or blood pressure. Individuals taking antidepressants or medications that influence liver detoxification. Pregnant and breastfeeding individuals, berberine is not recommended in these cases. Now on to possible side effects. Although many tolerate it well, berberine can cause side effects, particularly at higher dosage, when taken on an empty stomach. Again, I do not have an issue, but others do. Could cause nausea, cramping, loose stool or diarrhea, dizziness or fatigue, especially for those already with low blood sugar, headaches or appetite changes. The thing for me is usually everything triggers a headache or migraine, but berberine does not for me. If the symptoms persist or worsen, it might be a sign that berberine may not be the right tool for you, or the dosage needs adjusting. Always discontinue use and consult a healthcare professional if you experience any adverse side effects. Let's talk about what to track while taking it. To evaluate how your body is responding, functional lab testing is the best ally, right? Before starting Berberine, it's smart to establish baseline markers. Depending on your wellness goals, those can include fasting glucose and insulin. This would be used for metabolic support. GI testing, which is GI map or O-test for microbial balance. Lipid panels and liver enzymes. Use this for cardiovascular liver support. That high reactive CRP or ferritin for inflammatory status. Again, after 8 to 12 weeks, retesting gives objective data. Are your numbers improving? Are your symptoms resolving? Is your energy more stable and digestive smoother? These questions matter just as much as the numbers, right? Subjective tracking can help too. You might keep short-term weekly log, which includes how you feel eating after meals, digestive comfort, sugar or carb cravings, mental clarity or mood, your sleep quality. Sometimes improvements aren't captured in labs, but they become evident in daily experience. On the flip side, if nothing improves or you feel worse, that's worth paying attention to too. This is when that's worth paying attention to. Now let's talk about cycling and when to pause. Berberine's not meant for continuous indefinite use. It's most effective when used strategically in short bursts, supported by lifestyle and nutritional adjustments, paired with proper evaluation, both at the start and at the end. After 8 to 12 week protocol, you may want to take a break for 2 to 4 weeks. This allows your body to reestablish balance on its own and help prevent desensitization to the effects. If berberine was used for gut support, you may transition to gut restoring agents like probiotics, L-glutamine, or zinc. If it was used for blood sugar management, the focus might be on protein-rich meals, strength training, or sleep optimization. In other words, berberine is not the end of the journey. It's a tool that opens a door to deeper healing. More isn't always better. Smarter, more personalized use is. Now the final takeaway. Berberine can offer meaningful support for blood sugar balance, microbial harmony, and lipid metabolism, but only when used with purpose. Respect its purpose, respect its potency, and monitor your response. More isn't always better. Smarter, more personalized use is. So as we wrap up today's episode on Mindful Objective, I hope you're walking away with clearer perspective on berberine, not as a trend, but as a strategic wellness tool when used in the right context. It's not about jumping on what's popular. It's about understanding your body, using real data, and selecting targeted support that aligns with your goals. Whether you're working with support balanced blood sugar, gut function, or lipid metabolism, berberine may play a role, but it's not a replacement for solid habits or proper guidance. Nutrition is number one. Are you eating proper? As a reminder, this podcast for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making health decisions or changes to your routine. But if you're dealing with sugar cravings, energy dips, gut discomfort, or have labs that don't feel optimal, don't guess. Test. Our at-home functional lab kits can help uncover what your body actually needs. And remember, our professional-grade supplements are always 20% off retail, offering better quality at a lower cost than major online stores. The reason we're doing this is to help people heal. As always, thanks for joining us today. If you found this episode helpful, share it with someone navigating their own health journey. If you haven't already, please give us a 5-star review so we can move up the list and help others heal. Our goal is to help educate and heal people. Pass it on. So until next time, stay curious, stay empowered, stay mindful, and stay well.